All right, we are live. Welcome to the show. We're gonna bring Coach Squeeze in right now. Okay, there he is. What is going on, my man?
Yo, 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 what's going on? Y'all already know who it is. It's your boy from the Rise Podcast, Coach Squeeze, aka Smoothie King. Right back at y'all. What another one? What's going on, champ?
That's a better introduction than I could give you. I appreciate it.
What Coach Calvin always say. We do what we do.
You do. So you're in Baltimore right now, yeah?
Yeah, I'm at the gym, as you can see. I'm at the gym
Oh
where the
yeah,
work being done at.
yeah. I see. So let me ask about you a little bit first. So where were you born and raised?
Baltimore. I was born here in
Okay.
Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah,
I'm
true, true, and to the bone, to the core.
I came up with Hassim Rahman. That's a good friend of mine. We started in the amateurs together.
Oh, awesome.
People don't know
That's
this. Me and Hassim were both Kevin Rooney fighters. We went up in Catskill, New York. We lived in Kevin's house. We were all in that stable in 92, 93. So little known fact.
that's what's
Hassim's
up.
big ass because
Yeah,
back then he was big for heavyweight. You didn't have too many guys,
hey,
and he
you make
was.
me feel old when you say that.
How old are you?
54,
Okay, so yeah, so I'm 40.
54 years old.
You look good though. You look good. Um,
I am. I'm not. Thanks, man. Some days better than other body wise.
yeah. Well, you know how that is. You know how that is. So did you did you have amateur fights, pro fights? What's your background?
I did I did a fight up here, amateurs. That was in the Masters. I was 39 at the time. But when I was coming up, I did like around 12 fights. Yeah, like in the
Okay.
amateurs. We used to box at a rec center. It was like in the basement in the boiler room. That's where the gym was. In the
Oh,
projects, actually, high rise. So
so
that's when I really started to take a liking to boxing.
so you started boxing late then, huh?
No, that's
No.
when I was younger. When I did was fighting in the amateurs.
Okay.
I started out uh training with the amateurs like when I was like 12, 13, because that's all we did in the neighborhood. They had a gym
Uh huh.
out my backyard where all the kids used to fight, and they used to give you money for fighting and stuff. So I took it to the gym, and I fell in love with boxing ever since, man.
Wow. Okay. When did you start training people full time?
Woo. I started training people now. It's been, let me see, I came to the program when I was 39. I'm 54. So we're gonna say I've been training people a good 12 years. Well,
Okay.
good 12 years.
And did you come up with Kenny and with Calvin?
No, actually, I met those guys when they converted this. It was a rec center for basketball,
Okay.
and they converted it into a boxing gym. So I've been knowing Calvin and Coach Kenny for about 12 years, 11, 12 years.
Wow. Okay. And were you involved with Tank also since he was a little kid?
No, actually, it's interesting you asked that. Um, when I came in here, the program was basically just starting. Calvin came from another gym. He came from Her and Run. So when he started coaching Tank was like when I was first introduced to Tank, he was probably like 11, 12, 13 in that little area right there.
Okay.
And he had another trainer used to be here under the name of Coach Matt. So
Okay.
he was strength and conditioning, and Calvin and him used to coach Tank. So I never I it's crazy. I never worked with Tank before, but I always was went along with the journey, following his amateur career, the fights we used to have here. We used to have the Saturday night Friday night fights under the lights. So I've been seeing him perform ever since he was a kid, young kid.
Wow, wow. And as a kid, did you know that he was going to be something special?
Now, see, I'm gonna answer that honestly.
Okay.
I'm gonna answer that honestly because a lot of people cat. Yeah, me and Tank, that was my main man, and he just said hi to him. They don't even know him from a bag of damn grapes. But a lot of kids in here had talent. I seen a class before Tank class that was talented. A lot of young men that fought the same earning time Tank fought. We lost a couple of them to the streets. These kids they were nasty. They were mean. And
Yeah.
that's who sharpened Tank tools. But I can't say that I knew that he was gonna be this far in his career at this juncture because I really didn't work with him. I was just from the outside looking in the ring, seeing him putting the work in over the years. So all of them have a shot at it as long as they do the things that got Tank where he was, because Tank was a gym rat. He lived there.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, I know. I mean, there's footage of him really young boxing. Like he must be. I don't even know how old he is in that footage. I think you put that footage up, right?
Yeah, Tank like 20. Tank should be like 27. What 28.
28
About
now.
to turn 29.
But there's footage you put up of him. Like I think it was you. At least it's on this. I think it's on your account where he's sparring. He's like a little kid in that. I don't know how old he is there.
Yeah, Coach Calvin must have put it up
Okay.
on the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. He's young. I mean, he looks like God, maybe 11, 12, maybe.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he was exciting. When I watched Tank as a kid and being a boxing enthusiast that I always been and loved the sport of boxing, he had a matrix like style.
Okay.
And it's interesting. I look at how he fought then up to now. A lot of people don't know he was breeded from his amateur background. When they say that in this instance, in Tank really almost, he's basically doing the same thing he did as an amateur, but he just taking it to another level with the mastermind of Coach Kenny, aka Limpball Swami, and Coach Cal, aka CCO. With the addition of those guys, they just took Tank to a whole nother level, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, because that division, you got the big four, right? Haney, Shakur, Tank, and Tio. I Well, those are the four that people talk about. I personally think that Tank is the most talented. What I hear the most, though, a lot of people think that Tank and Shakur are the top two. I mean, what do you think? Who do you think second to Tank?
Um, in hindsight, I would have to say out of the four, like you said, the four kings, which now is three because Devin Haney at 140. He ain't coming back to 35. You got to hang that up.
Right.
I would say Shakur. Definitely, I would say Shakur. From his body of work so far up to this point in his career, he hadn't done a lot at 135. But to be honest with you, I like Shakur Stevenson. I love him. But he needs to stay away from Tank right now.
Ooh.
I think Tank in his career. See, they playing around with Tank. That spawn stuff they be running their mouth about, and the actual payday, a check on the line, it's another level. That
Right.
kid, Tank like that dollar.
Right.
Tank don't care about them belts, bro.
He wants the money.
Do
Yeah.
you blame him?
No, and people don't realize that. People who haven't fought, they don't realize that what you just said. When there's money on the line, it's a different animal than when you're sparring. I mean, Tank to me is okay. So I think Tiafimo. What do you think about Tiafimo? Because I think he's a real wild card. Because if he's on, he's pretty good. If he's on.
I'm glad you asked me that question. One thing I try to do when I do these interviews and I'm on the podcast, I move my feelings out of the way and actually be fair to the fighters and how I give my observation or perception of them. Tio, to me, mentally is all over the place. And that's not good for this type of sport, combat sport. He worries about more outside of the ring issues than he do with inside of the ring. I'm gonna let you know how that fight would play out in microcosm.
Okay.
He looked good the first, and I'm being generous.
Okay.
He looked good the first. I'm gonna be fair. I squeezed 5 in, but after the 5th round, 4.5 to 5 on through, I think Tank might get him. He might get him in 5, but I'm just trying to be fair because he do got decent footwork. He has some pop with him. Tank gotta be cautious, but I don't think he hit hard enough to hurt Gervonta Tank Davis enough to keep him off.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tank versus Tio is the most exciting. I'm not saying it'll be the hardest challenge, but that would be, in my opinion, the most exciting because they would just bomb each other out.
No.
You don't think so?
I think no. The way I look at that, excuse me, I'm trying to move all over the place.
It's all good. It's all good.
Got my phone in my hand. Only why I say that it's levels to this, and only why I'm gonna say this the way I'm gonna say it is levels to this. And Tank, when you see him prepare, it's just like the teacher give you work all during the week. Friday is a test. The pressure on. All right, you're 20 minutes up, all pencils down, back away from your tape. That's when Tank at his best. And I'm just saying what I seen. His work ethic is bar none. Some of the stuff he be doing to get his body ready come fight night, man, is I never seen before.
Wow.
So it's just like Tank like a Thanksgiving meal. Everybody can't wait till that time of the year to go over to their favorite relative's house because they got the best food. Yeah. Tank the candy yams. He the honey roasted turkey, glazed, the collard greens. When you leave away from that table, you ain't gonna wanna go eat nowhere else.
You know, they say that he is about to take over and be the face of boxing. That's what they're saying. I hate that term, the face of boxing, but he is probably the most exciting fighter in boxing. Tank, I think. Do you think he's ever going to end up fighting any of those 3 or 2?
Interesting question. Here we go again. The politics of boxing. You have the 4 big promoters.
Right.
Everybody sitting at the table, just like me and you doing. We discussing who's gonna put up the most money.
Right.
What I'm gonna get out, what I put in is, can this guy bring seats? Can he fill the seats?
Right.
it's a shame all of that plays a part in it because they got to get paid.
Yeah.
So, Tank, the face of boxing, it's kind of cliche-ish,
It is.
but it's some truth to it, depending on how you look at it. Because Tank is a household name.
Right.
You can mention Gervonta Tank Davis. I be places. I had his shirt on. Let me let you check it out.
Oh, that's dope.
I had his shirt on,
I like that.
and thanks. And people like Tank, man, or how he is, man, and Tank is people fighting for legacy. Tank fighting for lifetime longevity, financial stability. When he walks away from the sport, he can maintain that successful lifestyle. I wish him the best, man. I like to see all young people be successful, even though Tank, my top dog, but in the fight game, but the Teofimo Lopez's, the Devin Haney's, the Shakur Stevensons. I want to see all those young men secure that generational bag and be able to live life to the fullest.
Right.
So but when it comes to that ring, I mean, I'm like, this guy trains sometimes 3 times a day.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I mean, I have him in my pound for pound. Sometimes people don't put him in their pound for pound. Why do you think that is?
because I'm gonna try to go in their minds why. A lot of those people don't understand boxing. In the words of Roger Mayweather, rest in peace to the Black Mamba, they don't know Bob about boxing. I don't know if I can cut through it. That's why I beat that. Yeah, I added that. Bob, Bob, and they better Bob when he whipping their Bob. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so there was a recent rumor about him and Thurman. Now I know that's not true because I talked to Thurman's trainer, but I mean, why would a rumor like that? Do you have any clue where a rumor like that would even come up that Tank's gonna fight Thurman?
Yes. People stretching of the imagination. That's what I think makes the sport intriguing. When you can move pieces around on the chessboard and imagine how would Tank fare against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.?
Right.
How would he have fared against Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker? So the answer to your question is people put these fantasy matchups in their head. It's just like fantasy football. But how would that fight play out at a catch weight? I don't think Thurman can make 47 again.
Nah.
But hell no. But just hyperbole say that fight could be made at a catch weight. Thurman was fighting full time at 47, and the contract will be he makes 45. He only can go up 10 to 12 pounds. That fight will play up a very highly skilled chess match in the beginning. The first 3 to 4 rounds, Tanks will be cautious because at one time was living up to the moniker very well. I see Tank first couple of rounds moving around, looking for his mistakes, going to the body, putting the money in the bank early because we know he got a soft bottom, and throwing that uppercut on him and that right hook. Thurman he used the ring well too. Thurman could box. He had great feet, when he was on his game. But Thurman kind of chinny, and he got a soft waist. And Tank, if Tank catch you clean, I call him the last interview I did with him, I called him the Michael Jordan of boxing. When you down by 20, you ain't coming back against Mike.
Okay. I like that. The Michael Jordan of boxing. I like that. One fight that I would love to see, but I don't think it's going to be possible, but you tell me what you think, would be a catchweight Tank versus Inoue. What do you think about that?
At Tank, they say Tank can make 130. He still can make 130. It's a tough road, but he could, for the right price,
He could do it.
He could make 130, but I think there would have to be a catchweight, like for Tank, at least 32. If he could come in at 132, 2 pounds lighter. That fight right there, in a way, is a explosive fighter. Would he be able to carry that explosiveness up to that weight division? Number one, can he stomach the power of the ape? Number two, and Tank, a lot of people don't want to give him credit for it, is a master craftsman boxer.
Yeah.
He sets the power up.
Yes.
Definitely sets it up. But I got him finishing in a way like he did Fulton.
Yes, I agree. I think, everything you said is on point. But I don't know if Inoue would. That's a real risky fight for him, and kind of for Tank too, if you think about it, because it's a lot more to lose than it is to gain for Tank. I mean, gaining is money, but what does he gain, legacy-wise, beating a smaller guy?
Ooh, man, one of my coworkers was talking about it today. In the world, period, and life every day, it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't. Clause. Right. It's a damn if you do, damn if you don't clause. They will find a way to definitely, Tank should have did that. He was small. He came up to 3 weight divisions. Now, let's reverse it. Inoue comes up and beat Tank. We got to give all sides. I knew he wasn't who he said he was.
Right.
At the level of competition, I knew some Inoue could beat him. He was too fast all over the place. Tank couldn't find him. I told y'all, he a hype job. We can't get away from it. Marco, am I correct, Marco? That's correct, Marco. Yep. Yeah. And thank you for having me on, man. It's an honor and a privilege. I appreciate this. But like I say, man, it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't type of world we live in far as sports.
Right. I mean, who do you think between Haney, Shakur, and Tio would be Tank's toughest opponent? Like, who would he have the most? Who would be the hardest guy for him? Because styles make fights, for him to beat.
I would definitely have to say Shakur.
Yeah.
I would have to say Shakur, because Shakur is a hell of a defensive fighter.
Right.
He fights great off his back foot. He turns his opponent. He don't linger on the ropes too long. But I seen him fighting, and when he do that shell up on the rope, when Tank stab him to the sternum, the inside of that body, and come back with that hook back with the uppercut. Valdez hurt him to the body. Last week I seen on an interview, Shakur said it out of his own mouth. He looked at his coach in the corner. He said, he got me good. He said, I thought I would have to use the bathroom. That's how hard Valdez hit him.
Yeah.
Just imagine if that came from Tank.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so let's say Tank goes through these guys, right? I'm talking a couple years down the line. Do you think Tank could ever go to 47 and fight a Spence or a, probably Boots at that point? But do you think he could campaign at 47? Is that too big for him?
Definitely for me personally, and I'm on the other side of this camera, so you talking to me. Coming from the Smoothie King, I wouldn't really want him to go past 40. 47, he's 28, great turn 29. The wear and tear on the body, and to be out trying to pull that off at the age of 32, 33 years old with those type of guys, I just don't like it. I'm not diminishing what he could do, but I'm just going to keep it a buck. I
Right.
just don't like it.
Well, how tall is Tank actually? Like, what's his actual height?
Tank like 5'6", 5'5.5". He a little
Okay.
shorter than me, not by much.
Okay. Because, in my opinion, the only thing that has been any kind of an issue in his career has been his height because guys like Barrios and can keep him at a distance, until he catches him because he does end up catching him. So in my opinion, the only problem about moving up, because I think he'd carry the power and the speed and the IQ, it would just be the height. And it'd be a little hard for him to range and distance. What do you think?
As you can see, great point, Marco Boxing, great point. As you can see in the Barrio fight, I just watched that the other day again. I go back and watch that fight to see Tank patience and his calculating skill to edge his way in. Is he very intelligent beyond his years? But Tank say he'd rather fight taller fighters than shorter fighters.
Really?
He said it out of his mouth. Because the taller fighter is going to expose himself. He was going to lean in to try to catch Tank, and that box, Tank gonna hurt him. That's where he want him at. He gonna swerve those hips, come back with the rotation on them hips, man. Man, I'm telling you, I done seen him in here hurt 185, 90 pounders like they were like 122.
Wow. I mean, that's exactly what he did with Rowley, with Garcia. He caught him coming at him. That makes sense. Okay, I wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought that, guys who can use their size, because not everybody can use it, but if you know how to use the size, it's a problem. It becomes a when am I going to catch him kind of game. But wow. Okay. So who's next? Tank.
What'd you say? You broke up a little bit.
I said for Tank, who is next?
Good question. With Tank, to keep it 100 with everybody that's looking at this podcast, what people gotta understand. I know we anxious, we antsy in our pants. We want to see them in front of certain people. The dollars gotta make sense. I ain't gonna lie. If I had it my way, Frank Sinatra, I would have to say, give me, and I'm gonna give you a lineup. Give me Devin Haney first.
Okay.
Give me Teofimo Lopez second. And after that, we cashing out on the bag with Shakur Stevenson.
So Shakur is last. Huh.
That's my pecking order.
Do you know who Tank wants the most? Because I think I've heard him say Shakur.
Tank can come in Monday and come in Tuesday with a whole different vibe. Okay. But if he say out his mouth, and Tank really don't do all that calling out. That's what he mean. If he say that's who we want, trust me, that's what he mean.
Mm. Does he have an age at when he wants to kind of just hang it up?
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, I say Tank really, if it was up to him, it would be I'm a go try to go off of his piggyback. 5 more big bag fights. And in a 2-year parameter. He's great turn 29. He great turn 29, 30, 31. Tank say he don't want to be around longer than what he should. Some people can't walk away. But that's right now. People do change their mind. You know, they bring you out of retirement.
Yep.
When you retire, they say, boy, we got 50 million for you one night.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
mean to tell me I ain't gonna come out of retirement for 50 million and I ain't been fighting. I retired. I've been out of the ring for like a year and a half, but I still been in there training.
right. Or if there's
I'm taking it.
if there's a close fight or closer than he would like, and people start talking, he wants to kind of shut everybody up, and he'll come back and do it again. That happens too quite a bit.
Well, he haven't fought nobody that
No,
twice that he fought before, like the Charlo brother did.
right. He hasn't done it, but if that happens in the future, it might keep him fighting longer than he wants to. Is what I'm saying.
That's plausible. That's definitely plausible.
Yeah, but so let me ask you quickly, tomorrow night, who do you have winning, Charlo or Canelo?
I got this is a very interesting fight in my head mentally. I've been going through this stuff for decades. Only reason why I'm going with Canelo Alvarez, number one, I ain't gonna do like a lot of other people. I keep it at 100. I'm a fanboy when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. I always been. But I love the sport. I'm passionate about it. I'm going to do with just do it. To me, Canelo is one of the best fighters I ever seen for the attributes and tools that he had.
Yeah.
He ain't the biggest. He's not the longest. He don't have long legs. But to be able to maximize the skill that God gave him, I've always been a big fan of Canelo. So I got Canelo. I'm giving my fight prediction on Marco Boxing. And by the way, make sure y'all go on his channel, support, subscribe, and hit the like button coming in.
Thank you, sir.
All right? We're
Please
going to do this together.
Yes, sir.
Majority, split, or KO. That's the Smoothie King predictions tomorrow for Canelo.
Majority, split, or KO. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I happen to agree with you. I think the size and the experience will be probably too much. But you don't know with Charlo. Charlo walks around at 170, 180, they say. Maybe his punch will be there at 168. I don't know. But Canelo's also never really been hurt. So, but I'm with you. Okay. So, another one I want to ask you is there's going to be a big rematch coming up. Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. First off, I want to ask, who did you think was going to win that fight before they fought?
I'm going to keep it kind of light because we got Errol Spence fan in here and it's carpet. It's carpet. I don't want the floor to be flooded. But if you go back and watch that interview I had with Derek James on the Rise podcast a year out before those two, I'm a Bud Crawford fan since he entered the league. Since Bud entered the league from Nebraska, I always been on Bud. I said Earl Whitten and Bud class is high level on this. I had Bud Crawford beating him, but destroying him. I would be lying if I say so.
Me too.
No, I'm
Yep.
not going to do that. But I know Earl, like I told his coach, he a North and South fighter. He's there to be hit.
Yep. So the rematch, I assume you don't think them fighting at 154. You don't think? Do you think there'll be any difference in a rematch?
Only thing I think, and this is to be honest, the only thing I would say in a rematch that would be different, Earl would be a little more cautious, and that ain't what Earl do, and it's still gonna cost him because now he being passive aggressive because he know that Bud has the power to hurt him at any time. So in the back of his mind, when you get destroyed like that, it's kind of really hard to come back from. But we done seen it done before. Very rare, like a steak. Very rare. We just gonna brown the top, leave the middle bloody as hell. Very rare. But I don't see it being no different at 54 because Earl too flat-footed. He north and south. He too
Right.
predictable.
Right.
He
Right.
loads up on his shots. He ain't the fastest. But I almost kind of feel sorry for Earl because they made him out to be the boogeyman. If
Yeah.
you go back and watch, him and Bud ran across each other 3 years ago, 4 years ago
I
in the
saw
hallway
that.
at the fights.
Yep.
And he say, when we meet, I'm gonna knock you out. And Earl was like, on my life, man, I swear on my mother.
Yep. I remember that.
He say, when I beat you, they gonna say you too light in the ass. Bud say, when I beat you, they gonna say you was weight drained.
Yep. And that's what they said. Right.
I like Bud. You heard what Bud say? When I'm a Bud, if you out there and you looking at Marco's boxing, hit me up because you predicting stuff. I need that Mega Million number.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I think there won't be much of a difference. I personally don't really want to see the rematch, but I guess a contract's a contract, so they have to do it. Um, so lastly, it was just announced today, and I don't know if it's official, but Tyson Fury posted it on his page. He's fighting Usyk for undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. It will be the first ever in the four belt era. Um, you think Usyk could beat Fury?
You talking to me?
You?
I'm a little punch drunk here. I thought you was like just talking to the people in
No, to
the
you.
chat. Oh, my apologies
It's okay.
because I thought you know you used to box and you got boxing part. I just thought you was doing a little bit of stand up or something.
Nope. I'm asking
Because
you.
you very funny. Yeah. He too small.
Wait.
In this instance, I would go with where Earl Spence say for sure. He too light in the ass.
He is.
Tyson Fury ain't eat that boy. That dude just hit him to the body. He said it was a low blow. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That was right on, perfectly placed. He
Perfect.
got away with murder.
I tell people when you get hit in the nuts, that's not the way you react. Plus, that wasn't anywhere near the nuts, but if it did hit you in the nuts, you're not gasping for air. That was a reaction of a body shot. And he was
Very well said.
and the reason why it matters is because he looked like he couldn't have beaten 10. You know what I'm saying? If he would have went down, got right up, people were like, whatever. But since he looked crippled for a couple minutes, should we have a new champion?
Of course. But you know the politics of boxing took over again. Usyk is a bigger bag. We can't let our bag go down. You know what I mean? We can't let our bag go down. The table was set. All you had to do was pull your chair up and eat.
That's true.
That's all the hell you had to do. But when I seen that, my mouth like, oh my God, they did that man like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was messed up. I wanted to ask you off the topic, but how'd you get the name Coach Squeeze?
Ha! when the gym started, it was like very empty. I used to come in here, start training. The strength and conditioning coach, Coach Matt Ellis, he got fighters of his own. Um, he was the strength and conditioning coach years ago in here, a good 6, 7 years ago. And when I first met him, I'm in the weight room. So we working out, and me and this guy was working out on the weights. He in there working with his son on the mitts. So the guy was struggling with the weight on his chest. I said, squeeze, you maggot, squeeze. And he was over there laughing. He like, take it easy on the man, take the weight off his chest. I said, he shouldn't have picked it up. He said, you crazy. So he called me, I know what I'm gonna nickname you, Squeeze. That's the origin of that nickname.
Wow. That's a good, because at first I'm like, is that his real last name? It can't be. Can't be. Has to be.
Well, I couldn't change it if dollars make sense.
You could.
It's all about the bank, baby.
Oh, tell me about it. Well, look, man, I appreciate you talking to me. And let's do it again. Maybe we could go over after Charlo and Canelo. We'll go over the results.
You got my number. Whenever you want me to come on, I'll give you a time. I could be out and about, stand off to the side. If we just chop it up for a few minutes, anything to help your podcast, man. I'm all about unity and helping people grow. I don't have a selfish bone in my body, you know. But when Kenny told me you asked for me to come on, I thought it was an honor and a privilege. So that somebody would think about me, little old me, to come on their podcast and chop it up with them. So I appreciate that, man.
It was definitely one of the most entertaining ones I've done for everybody. So it works out.
So hey man, make sure y'all go over to Marco Boxing. I repeat, Marco Boxing. Check out this interview. It was fire. Make sure the fire department is nearby so y'all could put it out so no buildings burn down. But make sure y'all support this brother. He on the rise. And don't forget to go over to the Rise podcast. Check out your boy, All Access International, my partner in crime. And you already know Coach Squeeze, a.k.a. the Smoothie King. Mr. Marco, thank you. God bless you in this journey called life, man. I wish you everything, the best, whatever you work for. I hope it be reciprocated back, brother.
I appreciate you, man. Let's talk soon. All right. Peace out.
Peace.